So let's start the show.
Okay.
Our last show was December 3rd.
December 3rd.
And today is
April 22nd.
April 22nd. So we have been gone for quite some time. But we're happy we're back. And we have a lot in store for you this year. So last year was more of a trial run of how it would be, because neither of us, right?
Yeah.
Neither of us knew what a podcast was, or
Yeah, we were kind of just feeling our way through.
Mm-hmm. So we wanted to feel our way through, figure out if we were going to do it on video. Every time we did it on video, it looked funny. My hair wasn't in the right place, and we couldn't figure out the right set. So we all just changed it to make it a podcast, so just voice.
But, however, we do have plans to add video in there. We are making the leap, making the jump.
Yeah, making a leap and getting over ourselves, because it's not about us. It's not about how we look.
Exactly.
It's about getting the word out there. And I think that people are visual.
Yeah.
And people like to see us and to be able to connect better with us and what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten so many people asking, like, how come you guys aren't on camera? I'm like, not yet.
So this will be the last scheduled voice only, like, because we do have our morning commutes. If you haven't seen those, we have 2 out so far. So go and look at those. Those are just candid. It's just whatever's going on in our car. So
yeah, you get to see what it's like on our car rides and the conversations that we have. And just so you know, the very first one, I didn't even know I was being recorded. Thanks, honey.
Yeah, I mean, it just dawned on me, we can just record these. But you've always said, let's just record while we're in the car.
Yeah, I said it, but I didn't mean for you to surprise me into it.
That happened. So now that's a thing.
But yeah,
morning commute with Church in Action. So we'll be doing that. You'll hear from our kids. You'll hear the weirdness that goes on in our car, the songs, the hilarities. Everything goes on in that car. You'll see.
Our car is a pretty wild place.
Yeah, but it's fun. It is a lot of fun. So you'll get to know them too, as well. So we got morning commute that came out of it. So that's what's going to come up this year. So we want to talk a little bit before we go into what else is coming up this year. We want to talk about where we've been, what we've learned, and what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were out the gate strong. Like, we did a podcast almost every week, and it was strong, and we got a lot of feedback. People were excited, and then all of a sudden, nothing.
Crickets.
Yeah. What happened? I know for me that at the beginning of January, so our last show was December 3rd, and at the beginning of January, our church did a fast, and I think that I was just trying to hear from God at that time and not do any podcasts. So I was going to pick it back up February. So we had so many ideas. I mean, when I start downloading ideas, they just start coming rapid fire. I kid you not. So between December 3rd and February 1st, I had so many different ideas, so many different things was going to happen. And that's just that, yeah. But that happened.
But I mean, you still didn't tell them why them things didn't transpire. So
well, they didn't transpire because sometimes you can hear things from God. God will give you an idea, or He'll give you something to do, and either you don't hear right, or you add to what He said something that you want. And I think that I've added to, like, we had this whole idea for our business that we're still pursuing, and it's going to happen and manifest.
Right.
But I added a lot of things to it and a lot of different people to that business idea when God just wanted it to be black and white. I added purple and pink and green and orange, and then that's not what He wanted. So He said, stop it. You know what I mean? He said, cut that out. So I had to stop. And then I had to get back into a place where I could actually hear from God and hear Him clearly. So one of the things that I've learned since December 3rd was the fact that I need to sit still. Like, it's hard for me to sit still and be patient and wait on God. But I had to learn how you got to wait till He says it. And you can't create or, manufacture his voice saying something to you. You got to really wait until he say it. So that's
I mean, not only that, we got to do it exactly how he said, just like you said. I mean, and that makes me think of like Moses, where, he hit the rock instead of spoke to it.
Right.
And, we just kind of get these ideas and just run with them.
Oh, yeah.
But, like for me, like during that time, we were dealing with like a whole lot of financial up and downs and housing concerns. And so, yeah, we just recently moved, which, we kind of had to do. And it was a struggle. We didn't even know how we were going to move because, like, the money just wasn't there. And, like, the biggest thing that I learned was that, God, he provides.
He does.
And it's especially in them points when you don't think that there's any way out of it. It just happens. But one thing I will say about that time is, like, I never lost faith.
Yeah.
Like, during that time, like, we were both kind of freaking out, but my wife comes to me like, hey, what are we gonna, and I was like, just relax.
I've never heard him be so full of faith in my life. Like, he was so calm and like, it's gonna happen. God's gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. I'm like, who is you? And then I really got scared and nervous because I'm like, this ain't even him. He done lost his mind because he ain't never said nothing like that to me.
Listen. I don't know what it was, but God just told me just to relax and that he got it. So, like, I had nothing else but to be able to do that. I had no plan, no idea how to fix the situation or how to make it, make our lives even remotely where we wanted to be or comfortable or anything. So I'm like, Lord, you got to do this because I don't know how. And then there was just this peace.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This peace that washed over me that told me that we was going to see the other side of this and that it was going to be mind blowing, that it was going to be nothing that we did, that I wasn't even going to comprehend how we made it to the other side of this huge lake, river, whatever it is we were crossing. Like, we made it across and I don't know how.
So just to give them a little bit more context, because all while, like, he had his scenario and then I had my scenario and it was all revolving around the same thing. So from December until now, because I think we kind of just jumped right in it real quick. From December until now, we've been going through a lot of financial issues. And while we were, and it started truly at the beginning of December, I believe.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop. It didn't die down. I'm going to say it didn't die down until just now. Let's see. So we've been going through some financial struggles and a lot of things happened. And while we were going through these struggles, God was telling me, you will have a business. I'm like, okay, we ain't got no money, but you're saying that we're going to have a business. So at the beginning of December is when I've always known we would have businesses.
Yeah.
So he gave us this particular idea for this particular business that it will manifest and you all will be introduced to soon. And all while I was building, David knew that our finances weren't looking right. So my mind was all on, I was praying, I was fasting, I was worshiping, I was speaking in tongues for hours on time. And all I could hear was God saying, build this business. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And all while I'm doing that, David's in the other room like, oh, 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 right now.
The math ain't mathing.
Yes. So with it not mathing, I was still, up on the mountaintop.
Right.
At that moment. And I was getting all the instructions. And then when I came down from the
chaos.
Yes, it literally was chaos. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, when I finally came down, it was after the fast, after, 3 weeks into January, and I'm all ready to start this business. I'm like, February 1st is going down. We're going to have all these podcasts going. We're going to do this, that, and the other. David looking at me like I'm crazy, like, we about to get evicted. We just lost our car. I'm like, I think at that moment, not at that moment, it took me closer to the end of February, and you can tell them with you when I got to this point. Me, I never thought I would get to this point, but I did, and it's a testimony, and I'm going to tell the truth.
Okay.
So closer to the end of February, I lost all faith. I'm like, God, you told me this is what you're going to do. And then my mom got sick. So you told me this is what you're going to do. I got sick too. I thought I was going to die when I was sick that one time. You said you'd heal my body. You said you'd heal these people. You said you'll take care of my family if I took care of your kingdom. I'm giving, I'm serving, and I'm doing everything you told me to do, but yet we don't have no car. We are about to get evicted, and not every last one of our bills were behind. All of them. And then I come to David after I lose all faith. Mm-hmm. And, to the point of where I love God, and I'll always love God, but I was angry.
Mm-hmm. You say grab me too.
Yeah. And then I come to this dude at this moment. And I say, I'm mad. I'm not feeling good. I'm like, how are we going to do this? I look so stressed out and full of anxiety at that moment. And he looks at me with all this peace in his eyes and in his face. And he said, don't worry. God's got it. I'm like, did he get to you? Yo. That's what happened. So
that is what happened.
So I'm like, and then I started yelling at David, and he sits there the whole time I'm yelling. My heart's racing. I'm sweating. The veins popping out the side of my neck. He sits there with a smile on his face and say, I know you're upset, but God's going to take care of it, and it's going to blow our minds. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do about it? And he said, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to work. And God's going to do the rest. I was so mad. I went to my room. I cried. I prayed to God. I cried and cried and cried. I don't know when it was where I finally learned my lesson, which was my lesson and my testimony. I'm nothing. God, if anything's going to happen in my life or through my life, it's going to be God that does it. And I love God. And I thank God for teaching me and having this season with him. And with my husband, I've never seen him like that. So I want you to.
I thank God for that peace that he gave me, because I've never experienced anything like that. Because normally when something goes wrong, I'm freaking out myself, and I try to suppress it because I don't want to incite panic within the house. But like personally, in the closet, in the bathroom, I'm freaking out. Maybe even in tears at some points. Mm-hmm. But this time it was different. It was so different this time. I was just at peace. He told me don't worry about it, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, fine.
So what did you do? Like, how did you get to that point? Because you've never been that person where God can say, because God has told you many things in the past. But what do you think was different about this time that you listened to him? Like, I wanted you to listen to him all them other times too, but because I was there with you.
Yeah, I feel you.
This time I wasn't there.
See, this time I had got to such a point of hopelessness.
That's good.
A point of, I know that there's nothing I can do. Like, my hands are up, and it's like, I have no clue. Mm-hmm. I surrender at that point. Mm-hmm. And that's when God was able to be like, I got this, relax.
Right.
And, since I was all out of ideas, so there weren't any other voices in my head, my own voice. Mm-hmm. There was nothing there. I had no clue.
That's good.
I was able to hear him.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing.
Yeah.
David wasn't screaming on top of God.
That's good. So he got you to a point of where you had nothing. Like, he stripped away everything. That's really good. That's really good to hear. Like, That's really good.
Man, that's definitely something I'm gonna have to explore. It's like once you get rid of all your other ideas and the voice in your head, then you're able to hear from him better, easier, clearly.
Right. And that's good.
That's what happened with me. It was like I had nothing left.
That's good. That's really good. I'm proud of you. It's been a journey, and I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of us. Like, I mean, because eventually, after I came down from being so angry with God and so angry with David, I'm like, all right, if the man of God says to sit back and relax, I'm going to submit and I'm going to obey. And I started not worrying. And when I stopped worrying, God did it. Didn't he?
Did it hurt?
Wait, but like you just said, I got to a point where I couldn't do it. I had nothing else to rely on. There was no other gimmick, scheme, or anything I could pull out my purse.
Right, that was it for me. I was like, I can't think of no type of way to even rub two pennies together right now to make this happen. And I was like, I quit.
And even still in that, it's something that just came to my mind. We still were givers. Yeah. Like through it all, through all of our stuff. Yeah. Like God still tested us in the area of giving, even if it wasn't money. We gave our time, we gave ourselves.
It was money too.
It was money too.
Like not too long ago, I was calling you because I'm frantic because man, what were we trying to come up with money for? We was trying to come up with money for something, and I was like, we had like just got enough for it, but then something happened at church, and I was like, okay, I need to get this, and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm calling you. I'm like, babe, what do you think? Do you think I should just go ahead and get it, even though like we literally have exactly what we need for this bill?
But we got to a point where we both, and I'm happy that God brought us both in agreement to giving no matter what. Yeah. And he showed up like, oh my goodness, one of the blessings that he gave us in this time was that I got a raise on my job out of nowhere. Like, and it wasn't a 50-cent raise.
It was the biggest raise I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and I'm not doing any more work than what I'm doing before the raise. Right. So that was something that God did. It was totally God. And with our last apartment that we were in, we should have been evicted, and we should have had evictions on both of our records. No evictions. Yeah. No evictions on either one of our records.
The Lord touched his heart, and he didn't want to do all of that. He just, he really just wanted his money. And he's like, and if you can't pay, then, we're going to have to part ways. But that's just what it was.
So, and now we're in an entire house. We have a single family home that we've never had before.
Which we've wanted for so long. So, yeah, it was what they say, a setup for a bless up.
And it sure is. I mean, I can't say, I don't know what he has in store for us in this particular place. But, I mean, you guys will hear it when we hear it, because you're going to be in the car with us as we go.
Yeah.
But,
y'all going to come on this ride with us.
Yeah.
Whether it's bumpy, smooth, or flying through the air, you coming.
But it's been great having to rely solely on God. He brings you to a place where you have to rely on him, and that's where he wants us. Yeah. And if we just willingly... just stay in that place, we ain't gotta go through. So
listen, but we so used to doing it our own way, figuring it out, right? Hustling and grinding and this and that. And God, like, man, if you don't sit down somewhere, cut that out.
So our issues kept us from doing church and action. So
long story short.
So, I mean, we were in the wilderness. I believe we were disobedient at the beginning, because he told us to keep our eyes on him. And we started trying to figure out how we're going to do it. And then he had to bring us to a place where we're on our knees. And then we finally make that full circle back to season 1 of Church in Action.
And we're back.
Well, but so that we're here. So this year, this first season is going to be a season that we call Red Tape.
Mm-hmm.
So with red tape, there's a whole lot of politics and bureaucracy behind that. So what we want to do is bring out what people don't want to talk about within the religious community. The religious community.
Yeah.
All right, not the body of Christ, the religious community. So we're going to bring
There's
out...
a difference.
There's a big difference. And we will talk about that difference. So what do you want to talk about on that one? Because I want to go to mental health.
Well, some of the things that I've been posting lately, things like, how people think that just coming to church is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, what else?
Prayer. We're going to talk about prayer.
Prayer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, really, just to speak to our story, really submitting and throwing away our own plans.
Oh, yeah.
Because, that's a big issue. Because we all...
Because sometimes we make, our plans what we think God is telling us to do, and that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
We get so blindsided by Satan, and Satan, fills us with so much pride because we accept it and we willingly walk in it, that we begin to think that our selfish fleshly desires are what God wants for us, and that's not true.
Yeah, we for so long people have taken their own thoughts and ideas and plans, and they've got this rubber stamp that says Jesus approved, and they just stamp it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not approved. It is not approved at all.
And there's a lot of things. That's a good one. We're going to name one of our episodes that.
Jesus stamp.
Yeah. But a lot of people think that, and it's all selfishly motivated. If it's going to make you look good, then it's not God.
Oh, yeah. Forget about it.
It's not God.
Forget about it.
If it's building your name, your brand, it's not God.
Forget about it.
So,
you looking like Satan at that point. Ain't that what Satan wanted?
Exactly.
He wanted to be exalted and to be worshipped and all of that, and everybody to look to him, and that's what he still want.
Right. So why wouldn't he be trying to insert that into the church community to make a lot of little hymns?
Exactly.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to
talk
talk
here
about
looking like the devil.
Right. That's
Lord
good.
Have mercy.
He giving y'all the names of the episodes.
Oh, I'm trying to tell you. We about to drop some stuff.
Yeah, we go Russell feathers. Is it Ruffle?
Oh,
Ruffle?
yeah.
You're going to do something to them feathers.
Yeah, them feathers is
we turn it over tables.
Oh, yeah, we flipping them tables. All of them.
So that's what we doing
Stepping on some toes.
All the toes. All 10 of them. All 10 of them. You won't have none left.
Oh, man.
So, but we're going to do it all respectfully. We're not going to bring shame to the body of Christ because the body of Christ represents God.
Oh, but we coming for religianity.
Oh,
though.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. That's coming all the way down.
Religianity about to get his feelings hurt.
Right. So we're going to talk about that. That's going to be the majority of what we do this year. But I want me personally, because I had a lot of experience and a lot of run-ins with mental health and mental health well-being and all of that good stuff. So I want to bring some awareness to that. So next month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want to talk about that next month. And there will be some things that come up throughout the year that we're going to talk about too, just little quick topics, we'll call them. But the majority of the year will be the Red Tape series.
Okay.
So, and then we want to do on location. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, yeah, we want, as we say, we want to get out of the four walls. So we're going to be taping at different events and locations, interviewing people, going to different, fundraiser, nonprofit type events. So, with that, if you guys have any events you'd like us to show up to, definitely inbox us and let us know.
And then I'll put all of our handles below, as well as our email, so you can email us if you want us to come to your event. If you want to be a guest host, a guest speaker, if you have a topic that you want to talk about, or if you had an experience in church that you think that would be a good fit for this show, then we like to talk to you. We like to interview you, so you can also inbox us as well. But we'll have plenty of guest speakers lined up. So that's us.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. Let's
go.
So,
so like we said, this will be the last voice only episode. So
you
are
about
you ready?
To see our beautiful faces.
Yeah. So that means we gotta get dressed.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
can't just wear like basketball shorts.
No,
and tank top?
they don't want to see your knees. Your
What
Mr.
you
Brown.
trying to step on my knees?
Your Mr. Brown knees.
Wow. Yo, cut this out. Yo, cut. Y'all see this disrespect, y'all?